when the saints go marching in.
Vox Fidei brings you into the inner life of the Word made flesh. Father Chris guides us in the lives of the saints in Saintly series.
Hello, welcome. It's Saintly series. Today, 17th of September, we celebrate Saint Robert Bellarmine, Bishop and Doctor of the Church. Saint Robert Bellarmine was born into a noble family at Montepulciano. This is in Tuscany, Italy. He was born on the 4th of October, 1542, to Vincenzo Bellarmine and Cinzia Cervini. In 1560, he became a Jesuit and studied theology in Padua and Flanders. He was ordained a priest in 1570, and he became a professor, a great preacher, and the first Jesuit to lecture in the University of Louvain, Belgium, and also in Flanders. A few years later, due to failing health, he returned to Italy and began to teach theology at the New Roman College, now known as the Pontifical Gregorian University. In 1599, Robert Bellarmine was now created a cardinal by Pope Clement VIII. Robert was shocked to have been appointed a cardinal. More so, the constitution of the Jesuits did not permit them to receive church honors, but the Pope went ahead to honor him, stating that he was not his equal for learning. As a member of the Roman Curia, Bellarmine lived an ascetic lifestyle. This was in the Vatican apartment where he lived. There he lived, eating mainly the food of the poor, bread and garlic. And Bellarmine would give his income as a cardinal to the poor. In winter, he would remove even the curtains in his room and clothe the poor, saying, "The walls won't catch cold." At the age of 60, he was now made Archbishop of Capua in 1602. He had never been involved in pastoral work in the parish. This was a new phase in his life, and he carried it with so much enthusiasm. But it didn't even last for long. 3 years later, he was recalled to the Vatican, where he became the head of the Vatican Library. Bellarmine Robert was a firm opponent of the doctrines promoted by the Protestant reformers in the Council of Trent. In fact, Bellarmine was the point man. Bellarmine was a hothead during the Reformation. One of the most difficult periods in church history was the 16th century attack by the Protestant reformers. It brought about huge loss to the church, loss in members, as many abandoned the church, loss in property, loss in authority, loss in prestige. Church doctrines were denied and rejected again and again. The validity of the sacraments were rebuffed. The authority of the church was denounced. The interpretation of Scripture only by the authority of the church was rejected. And also, the place of sacred tradition was heavily attacked. A real problem was threatening the church at that time, seeking to destroy the church right to its foundation. But the church had to fight back through a resurgence, through a revival, through a counter-reformation, giving birth to the Council of Trent. There, the church took a closer look at itself and got restored to its former beauty, as practices and laws were reviewed. God indeed raised people like Bellarmine to be the ardent instruments in the counter-reformation. As an ardent devotee of St. Francis of Assisi, Bellarmine lived a life of poverty and spent his time looking after the poor in the society of his time. He was also the head of the team that examined the work of Galileo Galilei, his very close friend. Galileo even dedicated one of his writings to Bellarmine. Before Bellarmine's death, Bellarmine supported the beatification of Aloysius Gonzaga, a student at the new Roman College, a place where Bellarmine had taught. Bellarmine also assisted St. Francis de Sales obtain formal approval of the Visitation Order. Robert Bellarmine is also known for his 3-volume works known as the Disputation on the Controversies. This highlighted the temporal powers of the Pope, the role of the laity in the church. He was highly attacked by monarchs in England and in France for holding that the theory of the divine rights of the kings over everything, including the church, was unjustifiable. Bellarmine died on the 17th of October 1621. We can learn from Cardinal Robert Bellarmine that being a gifted scholar comes with great responsibility. Therefore, as Christians, we are called to use our God-given talents, our gifts as erudite scholars, to defend the church and our faith. He was canonized in 1930 by Pope Pius XI and declared Doctor of the Church in 1931. Bellarmine is the patron saint of catechists and of catechumens. The color of the day is white. What we offer the saints is veneration. Peace be with you. I am Father Chris, Vox Fidei.
Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in.
Vox Fidei, God is in charge.